So today I was racking my brain and asking people what kind of support they need. And a lot of people, it seems like this year, have been getting sick. And I know that's what a lot of people have been asking me lately, so I thought I would go ahead and kind of talk a little bit about some ways to help support our immune system during this winter season. So a couple of things. First thing I want to touch on is just the fact that, remember, we want to support our body's natural immunity. So we're going to talk today about ways to help get us better once we're sick, but then also how to kind of keep us from getting sick and how to kind of boost our immune system so that we don't have to deal with so many seasonal threats. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. So the first thing I want to talk about are ways to kind of make sure that our bodies kind of stay working as they should. So the first thing that my family and I do is we eat probiotic rich foods. So sauerkraut, kefir, yogurt, but make sure when you're eating yogurt, you're not getting the kinds that are just made with tons of sugar. You want to get kind of more of the plain kind, and if you can, get grass-fed, get it from grass-fed cows, because that's obviously the best to get. But so you want to eat probiotic foods. Now, another thing you might want to do is you might want to go ahead and supplement with some probiotics as well, just to kind of get your body really working. I know I have a lot of kind of digestion issues, so I like to kind of keep that uptake to as much as I can. So that's the first thing. The second thing that you want to do is make sure that you have enough vitamin D and that you're getting enough vitamin D. I live in Ohio, so during the winter months and like today, there's not much sun that comes out. So it's really important that we're supplementing with the vitamin D, because not all of us can get out, especially when it's like below zero. We can't get outside and get that natural sunlight. So we want to make sure that we're supplementing with some vitamin D. So my family and I supplement around 2,000 each day. Obviously, for our little 1.5-year-old, he does not get that much, but my husband and I take that much. So supplement. If you're not sure your vitamin D levels and you don't feel comfortable doing that, there are lots of blood tests that you can get done to kind of see where you're at as well, because vitamin D is just a huge helper in your body. So another thing obviously is hydration. So you want to make sure you're drinking enough water. So I have this big guy here, and I try to go through 2 or 3, sometimes more, depending on how I'm feeling, a day. So you really want to make sure you're just putting water into your body. It's just going to help kind of flush and get rid of nasty things that start coming. So that's really important. And then also, you want to make sure you're really focusing, and we've talked about this so much, but you really want to make sure you're focusing on whole foods. So you want to be focusing on foods that come from the earth and not processed foods. It's going to help your body get the nutrients and the minerals that it needs in order to help kind of fight off when you do get those little bugs going on. So you want to make sure you're eating as natural and as many whole foods as you can. It's very, very important. So also, in kind of regards of that, adding garlic to your foods is a great way to kind of help ward off seasonal threats as well. Garlic, and then that's just, I like adding that to crock-pot meals. If you do that, try to make sure you're adding it towards the end of the time, because you don't want it to cook too much. And then you can just add it to really anything that you make. So I know I make a lot of chili this time of year, and I throw a bunch of garlic in there. So garlic is a great way to a great food that you can put into other foods to help with that as well. So those are just a couple of things. And then the last two I want to touch on before we talk about when we're starting to kind of feel under the weather, but is stress and sleep. So I know it's so much easier said than done to stress less and to get more sleep because we all lead busy lives. But if we could just try to focus on that and try to make that more of a priority for our bodies, because sleep is so important just to restore our bodies and to help with just kind of repairing and getting it ready for the next day. And then stress just is horrible for our bodies, and it just kind of tears it down. So trying to make sure you're getting as much sleep as you can and then also kind of try to eliminate the stress. So if that might be to go to the spa one day and hire a babysitter for the day and just go and just get a massage and or even if it's just for an hour, getting out of the house, taking a walk if it's not too cold outside, anything, but just help kind of bring those stress levels down, and that will help. Along those lines, I do want to touch on sugar. So I know that a lot of people, sugar is a very addictive substance, and so it's really hard to eliminate it from our diet. But if you want to stay healthy and kind of keep your immune system where it should be, eliminating sugar is really important to your overall health. So if you do want to indulge in some sugar, just try to make sure that it's with a protein or a fat. So that way when it breaks down in the body, it kind of breaks down slower, and your digestion is kind of helping it break down, so it's not such a rapid pace. So those are a couple of things to kind of help you stay healthy. Another thing that I like to do to help kind of keep our family immune systems working, and then I also use it when we're not feeling good, is diffusing essential oils. So we talked a couple of videos back about the air quality in our homes, and especially during the winter, at least in the colder states, it's harder to open our windows and get that fresh air in. So it's really important to diffuse essential oils to help kind of purify the air as much as we can. So some great oils I like to diffuse during this time of the year is On Guard. It's more of a protective blend, and it does help to support the immune system. I also like, anything, but I really like On Guard for this time of the year, especially if you're starting to come down you're starting to feel a little grungy and run down. So let's talk about if you're starting to feel grungy and run down. Another thing that you could do to help support your body is, one of the things I like to do is echinacea tea. And I love drinking it because it just helps boost your immune system. And then also adding a little bit of raw or local honey gives it like that added boost as well. So I actually wanted to read you something from Dr. Axe, who I know I've talked about him a lot. I'm actually in the middle of reading his book. That's why I'm talking about him a lot. But and I wanted to read you guys something that he says in here about honey, and I found this just very interesting. It says, in a study published in the Journal of Pharmaceutical Biology, researchers found that a mixture of raw honey and bee pollen showed a significant reduction in inflammation, improvement in immune function, and protection for the liver. So honey is just an excellent source of prebiotics to help kind of nourish and support your gut as well. So it's a great thing to have on hand, to put in tea during the winter months, and actually to eat year round, but especially when you're starting to feel a little run down. Another thing that my family does is we like to roll essential oils and put them on the bottoms of our feet. Now, I already talked about diffusing, and that's great. You definitely should diffuse. But then another thing, so I make these roller bottles, and this is the little kind of pouch I have for my son's roller bottles. And so I make them, and then, or you can get them as roller bottles too, but I just made mine. And then all we do is we take off the cap and we just roll it on the bottoms of our feet. A really good kind of protective blends that help kind of support the immune system against seasonal threats is On Guard, like I mentioned earlier, Melaleuca. I like both of those. Lemon is great as well. And then for kind of an extra boost, and I don't use this per se on my son, but when my husband and I aren't feeling the best, we like to kind of help support our immune system with oregano. So make sure you dilute oregano though, for sure. If it's not in a roller bottle, make sure you dilute it before putting it on the bottoms of your feet, because it is a hot oil. So you want to make sure you're always diluting that. So those are a couple of oils that I like to use around this time of the year to really help kind of support and support, you know, our natural body and its immune system. So, and then that's really all I have for you today, but I just want to leave you with a couple of things. I know it seems like this is a lot, but like I always say, take one or two things and start incorporating it into your life, and then kind of work on the other things, because you will see change. You know, the more that you go and the more that you start incorporating little things into your life, the more you'll see the changes that occur with those. And so, you know, healthy living, there is so much that encompasses healthy living. I mean, there's so many things you could do, so many avenues to take. But just starting with one thing, and then when you see the change that starts happening in your body and how much better you start feeling, it makes you excited to kind of continue on and to continue supporting your body naturally. And it's so amazing how God created our bodies perfectly, and how, you know, all the stuff that I mentioned earlier, it's all we're doing is supporting our body's natural way of working. So it truly is amazing at the intricacies of our body. So that's what I wanted to leave you with today. So just pick one or two things that you can start incorporating into your life. And I hope, you know, that you guys, that this winter season, that your family does well for the rest of the year. I think we're in February now, so we don't have that much longer of the winter season. So I hope that, I wish you guys the best. And if you have any questions going forward, like always, feel free to email me at heysimplyreeni, REENI, @gmail.com. I love to answer any questions and help you in any way that I can, because that is what I'm here for. I love helping people. You know, if you haven't heard me talk before, just going back to my previous kind of years in life, I just wasn't feeling good at all. And so I want to help support people on their journey so that they can start feeling better as well. So I hope you guys have a great day, and thanks again for joining me, and I will see you next week.